Hello, Internet. My name is Roro, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone's having a good day. I was just sitting, drinking my morning coffee and reading some headlines, and, just got to thinking, and I thought it'd be a good idea to make a video about why I stay inside all the time, why I almost never go outside and interact with the world and with other people. So let's get into it. So, first of all, for anyone who's new to my channel, I'm a loner. I like to stay inside personally, not even considering other people because I'm very introverted. I like to be alone, spend as much time alone as possible because that's how I really can maintain and preserve the energy that I have. And being out in the world, interacting with people very often is very, very draining for me. It doesn't even have to be very often, honestly. Probably less than the average amount for the average person is very draining for me. So, just as a way of self preservation and making sure that I have enough energy to get the things done that I need to get done in my daily life, it's almost, I would say, necessary for me to spend as much time in my apartment alone as possible. And I think this is a product of, just kind of how I am. There's certain aspects of it that I don't really have control over. I think it's just how I'm kind of predisposed in my personality and just like my human mind. I also do deal with mental illness, and that causes me to isolate a little bit more, just because, it's hard for me to deal with my own problems sometimes, and I don't like to put my problems onto other people. So that's why I don't always hang out with people. I do have friends and I do have people that I keep in contact with. Right now, I live in a city where I don't live near a lot of my closest friends. So even if I wanted to hang out with people, I don't really have that opportunity. But honestly, I'm kind of okay with that because I've mentally had a lot more clarity since I've been here, which has been about a year and a half. And it seems like the more time I spend alone by myself, the more mental clarity I've started to develop. And luckily, I work from home and I don't have too many responsibilities outside of the apartment that I need to fulfill. So I am able to spend a vast majority of my time alone inside as I would prefer. I talk to a lot of people who had a really hard time during lockdown for COVID, not because of COVID itself, but because it's probably the first time in their entire life that they've had the opportunity to stay inside with their own mind, or B, been forced to, essentially, because it honestly blew my mind how many people had so many mental revelations about their life because they were forced to sit in their house and just think about their life. And that was really hard for a lot of people. And I can sympathize with that for sure. Like, I understand the lifestyle that a lot of people live isn't conducive of them having time to reflect, especially in America, especially on the East Coast where I was living for a while. There's a really strong work hustle culture on the East Coast that people, pretty much everybody falls into. So I can definitely sympathize with that. And obviously, the virus itself is a huge issue in the world. But I can honestly say that since COVID, my life personally, my daily life has improved because I've been able to spend a lot more time alone and in my house by myself. Like, I don't think I would have this remote position that I do if it wasn't for COVID. And this is just my normal life as it is, like, so March 2020 is when lockdown started. I went back to work a month later. So I was pretty much working through the entire pandemic. And I wasn't remote until the end of 2020. So pretty much from May until November of 2020, I was working on the road. I was in New York City, seeing everything firsthand and seeing how people were reacting, seeing how many people left the city, how many less people were around, and essentially exposing myself to potentially getting the virus and stuff like that. And this is before there was vaccines or anything. I'm not going to get into too much of the specifics of this because that's not what this video is about. But basically I was on the ground floor, however you want to say it, witnessing all of this firsthand and having to, deal with it mentally and literally in my daily life. And as I said, I prefer to spend a lot of time in solitude. And I think since most people don't do that, they don't ever deeply think about their life and their mental state, and they don't really fully envelop themselves in their thoughts. So there's a lot of things that spin around in people's heads that they ignore. And I think lockdown forced them to confront that, which is, again, I'm sympathetic. It's very difficult to do that, especially the first time. But I'm somebody who is always in my head thinking about things, figuring out my faults, figuring out what I need to improve, figuring out what I need to confront in order to get healthier. I've gone through years and years of therapy, different therapists, different types of therapy, working on all of this. And maybe some people are able to function on a daily basis better than I was. Because for me, I got to a point where I was desperate and I needed it because I just couldn't go on the way I was living anymore. And this is all before COVID too. But some people, I guess it's just that wasn't the case for them. And I don't really want to get into COVID anymore. I didn't even plan on talking about that, but it just kind of came up naturally and it was relevant. So I felt the need to include it. But that's a great reason for people to stay inside too. I think a lot more people that wouldn't normally stay inside are much more willing to stay inside more often because of potential dangers and hazards with COVID that are still relevant to this day, whether you're vaccinated or not. But aside from that, objectively, obviously anything can happen. You can't predict your life, but objectively, you are safer if you stay in your house and you don't go out into the world because one, people are unpredictable. Two, there's physical danger that you can encounter, driving, anything like that. Obviously a slew of things that are dangerous. And, my favorite thing in life, one of my favorite things in life is getting home safely because every day there's people that unfortunately don't get home safely for lots of different reasons. And I already have an aversion to humans and people as it is. So the less I can interact with people, the better off I'll be and the more perceived safety and comfort I will have. And I'm saying perceived because, like I said, anything can happen. I could drop dead in my apartment after I finish recording this. There's no way to prevent that. There's no way that I can predict that. But I personally just feel better the safer and more comfortable I am. And for what that means for me, and I don't even mean physically safety, I mean mental safety as well. Like people really drain me and it takes a lot of energy for me to get through a day of constantly interacting with people. So safety in a mental health way as well is relevant to this. And I could go into specifics, but I kind of wanted this video just to be a quick summary of, a few reasons why I like to stay inside and how it benefits me and how it could potentially benefit more people if they do it more often. I think it's more relevant post-COVID, but I'm curious for all my other loners out there, all my other introverts, all my other hermits. What do you guys think? What are the reasons why you like to stay inside? What are the reasons why you like to avoid people as much as you possibly can? I'm curious as to other people's reasons behind that. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you like this video, you can check out some other ones on my channel. I have a bunch of other ones, all kind of similar topics. And I put a new video out every Sunday. So you can come back next week for a new one. And I end every video with a little bit of original music. So go ahead and listen to that. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time.